Welcome to Astrodology, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Astrodology with Astrid. I hope you're doing well and really taking good care of yourself, listening to your intuition, and feeling hopeful about this new season ahead. We entered the new astrological year with Aries, and now we're moving to sign number 2 as we enter Taurus season. I hope you're feeling the grounded, steady energy of Taurus season. Taurus is an earth sign represented by the hefty, strong bull. So this is a super moon, and super moons appear closer to the earth. So when they're in the sky, they're slightly bigger than a normal new moon, or the energy is that way, because new moons we cannot actually see because they are dark. And they are dark for a reason, because they want us to tune in on what's happening on the inside. But this will be the closest super new moon of the year with this Taurus energy. I took a riff from somebody and they said something, this is a time of sensible versus sensual. Sensible versus sensual, because Taurus is both of those at the same time. This new moon in Taurus is coming in on Sunday, 4/27 at 7 degrees. So as we talk about numerology, we know that 7 is the spiritual number. So it's going to be a very spiritual time on a very spiritual day. So Sunday, 7 degrees. Spirituality also represents knowledge. It represents learning. It represents the teacher and being taught. So it's about knowledge as well, connecting with a higher plane outside of the norm. It's coming in at 12:31 Pacific Standard Time. So right around lunchtime on Sunday the 27th Pacific Time, will be in the glorious energy of this new Taurus super moon. So this is marking the beginning of a new cycle. And as we close out April, I am recording this on the 24th of April, the 23rd of April, and these last days of the month are very potent, as has been the month of March. February was no joke. But what I love about Taurus is it's a perfect time to look at where you're blocking your progress or getting in your own way by being very stubborn, very fixed, or stuck on a certain idea or perception of the way things, in quotes, should be. Taurus is a fixed sign, and being the bull, if you know any Taurus in your life, they are known to take their time. I'm not sure if it's full stubbornness. Sometimes, like the bull metaphorically digs their heels in and won't move and can't be budged. There are those extreme Taurians out there, but for the most part, it has to do with them taking their time instead of running out and rushing out like, fire sign energy. When you think of Taurus, I want you to also think about Scorpio energy, because Scorpio is Taurus's exact opposite on the wheel. And we've all heard the term that opposites attract. And in this case, it really is an attraction, because Taurus is earth, Scorpio is water. Earth needs water. Water needs earth. They need each other. So it's a time to look at what you're pushing back against, what you've been resisting, and acknowledge how you put so much time and energy and attention into pushing against something. And sometimes it turns out it's not what you actually want. And it tends to make it an even bigger issue, and it snowballs into something you don't really actually want. So the idea is during this time is, instead of resisting discomfort, pain, or even things that you're afraid of, the energy and the geometry and the cosmic energy of the Taurus season invites us to stop pushing against the grain, to start pushing against the current, stop fighting about something, and instead strive for something that we really want, and to shift our focus from what we don't want towards what we want. So one of the aspects occurring during this new moon in Taurus is the moon and sun are square to Mars. The moon and sun are square to Pluto. And Mars is opposite Pluto, so this creates a powerful T-square. Now, we've heard Pluto a couple times. Pluto is one of the signs, the home planet for Scorpio. So right away, you're going to have a lot of spirituality on this 7-degree energy in the new moon in Taurus. The idea is our consciousness is going to be raised because that's what the number 7 does. 7 energy is about that. Scorpio energy is about it because with Plutonian energy, it's about transformation. One of the things we want to be mindful of, in which Taurus is here to remind us of, is to guard ourselves against being impatient. This has been a wacky year coming into 2025. So the more we just kind of surrender to what is, the faster things will flow to us, because when we resist, things close down. When we relax and allow, things open up. So this is a time you may discover a deep discovery, like something really rich in your heart, because Taurus is governed by the planet Venus. Venus is its home planet. Venus, love, beauty, friendship, compassion. And the great thing right now is all the planets are direct until May 4th. So there's no backwards energy. Everything is forward momentum. So find yourself enjoying this forward momentum and feeling more grounded due to Taurus energy. It's a time to feel very centered and grounded, but it's also a time to get going and actually get stuff done. So it's like the idea of the plans and things that you put in place during Aries season, when Aries was like helping you concretize, helping you visualize and light the fire of your dreams and desires. Now it's time to get that stuff done. It's also in getting stuff done, there is, like I say, some patience, and it's also maybe a wait and see time. The idea is not we're getting stuff done, but we're not straining and pushing things, because Taurus energy is very cool and calm. It's not frantic, crazy energy. What I love about Taurus is that Taurus governs pleasure, money, security, and it's ruled by Venus, beauty, abundance, a sense of well-being, feelings of financial prosperity. Taurus rules the second house of possessions and tangible things. And the tangible things also include our 5 senses. One of the main senses for Taurus is oral, eating, taste, flavor. Taurus loves a good meal and good food. And we need to completely understand what belongs to us, because it's about our attitude towards the physical, material, and tangible things. And it's how you value these material things compared to how you value yourself. Now, the shadow side of this could indicate greed, low self-worth, or even financial hardships. Sometimes when we need a lot of money and financial abundance, we are our own worst enemy when it comes to this, because we don't really believe it or feel worthy of it. So stable and dependable earth sign energy is great, and we need that right now. So think loyalty, think firm foundations, because the moon is also exalted in the sun. That means the moon, because it's exalted in Venus, is going to be more powerful. So Taurus, our lovely earth sign with fixed energy, it allows us to digest, and it allows us to review everything that the eclipse season gave to us and brought forth. All that Aries, Pisces, node energy was intense. Taurus represents our money and our finances. And one of the statements about Taurus is that it represents our ability to attract and magnetize things to us. Taurus is heavy and big, so it's not going to go running, chasing after things unless it feels that it is threatened. Taurus is a very protective sign, so it's protected of its family, of its tangible things. So unless something is stirring a bull up, the Taurus energy up, it will attract and magnetize just by the sheer look of a bull. It's fascinating to see the girth and the size of the bull. It really is interesting. So when you think of this time of the year or this time of the season when we're in Taurus energy, just like the other signs, whenever a sign is on deck, we get to mirror that energy or capitalize and ride the wave of that energy. We all have Taurus somewhere in our chart, one of our main aspects or in one of our houses. So Taurus loves and appreciates the finer things in life. So the big questions during Taurus season is, where are we vibrating and what frequency are we on when it comes to abundance, wealth, and prosperity? I get excited whenever Taurus is on deck because that is the underpinning energy of Taurus. It's like, are we tuned into the right channel? Are you tuned into the right frequency? And again, it's going to be stronger fixed energy because of this Scorpio energy. So Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio are the fixed signs. So we have a Mars and Pluto activation happening that started on 4/18 that will go through 4/30. So right at the apex and the start of this new moon. On 4/26, Mars is opposite Pluto. So these are the two ruling signs of Scorpio. So again, when you think of Taurus, you have to think of its partner, Scorpio. Mars is fiery and intense, brings up passion and energy. And Pluto is about deep transformation. So with Pluto wanting this deep transformation, suffice it to say that the fiery energy of Mars is going to burn through and help us reach to that transformation. So the idea is, you can say to yourself, I can move forward now. And whatever has been blocking me and stopping me has been addressed, and I'm moving forward. So Taurus grounds us in what's real and what's tangible, and it's asking us to indulge in our senses. And we need to rely on our senses right now. So indulge in the taste, indulge in your hearing, indulge in using your voice, all of your senses. I read a thought that said, remember that new moons aren't times for certainty, but for trust. Trust in what? Because the way things work is we have to believe it, then we'll see it. Also note that the new moon is a time of fresh beginnings, fresh starts. So pay attention to new people that may enter your lives. Watch the events that occur during this time, because what happens now will feature prominently in our lives later. So my idea of later is when we get to the full moon in Taurus in 6 months. Remember, the moon works in a 6-month cycle. So here we are with the new moon in Taurus. In the fall, you want to look back to see where you were during this new moon and where you've landed during the full moon in the fall. So what to do? What are you doing that truly and authentically inspires you? You want to think about, what do you value? And how do you connect with Mother Nature in ways to get grounded? When you think of Taurus energy, whenever you think of any earth sign, it's about spending time in nature, connecting in your gardens, going out on a hike. What helps you feel total commitment? This can be a tricky one because it could be a combination of things. But what are those times in your life where you feel totally content? Rest and self-care are key and on deck during this time. Also sleep and resting. Getting a good night's sleep, but taking pause and time out during the day just to rest. Setting new routines. It's a great time to set new routines. Reset. So it doesn't matter if January, February, March, or April, you didn't get to start your new routines and get in a good habit. We always can begin again every day that our eyes reopen and we're alive, we get to restart. So don't forget that. It's a great time to refine your financial budgets, your financial obligations, and to reset your financial goals and your visions. Taurus, again, is a money sign. So when Taurus comes on deck, the end of April and May are always going to be more abundant than any other month. This new moon in Taurus will act as a soothing balm. Our nerves have been frazzled and we're part of this collective distress, and all of the shocking and crazy and destabilizing outside events have greatly affected us. So this new moon in Taurus is so powerful to get us back on track. One of the things that I love about Taurus, and you'll probably see me hold this in my live Coda Life Goddess on Instagram, is Kambaba Jasper. Every time Taurus is on deck, I pull out my Kambaba Jasper because Kambaba Jasper dates back 3 billion years. Yes, that's billion. So it aids with your meditation. It helps to remove blockages in your heart and your base chakras. It also helps dispel worry and negativity and allows a clear path for clarity and for serenity to flow. Aren't those things that we want and need in our lives? What I love about Taurus energy is Taurus really is an uncomplicated sign, and it just wants to be satiated through the 5 senses, to taking in, to enjoying and responding. So a Taurus full moon gives us the desire to nourish ourselves through gourmet foods and flavors, to get our bellies full, to feel satisfied. Taurus also is a sign of security and grounding, and helping us to understand that there's money in the bank. When we don't have money in the bank and it's not covering our needs, we're not going to feel very grounded. But Taurus says, ground down, relax, and then you can have the thoughts to think of the ways and things that you can get those things that you financially need. Maybe some of those things that we always want, we're drawn to getting more and more of them during this time. And there are also those little simple, quick pleasures that make us feel good in the moment. Like when you're enjoying some ice cream, or you're just relaxing at the beach or sitting out in the sun. So unbelievable time. So let's talk about some dates. 5/1, because this full moon energy happens for 2 weeks, just like the full moon, the new moon. We have 2 weeks till we get to the next energy, the lunation of the full moon. So 5/1 is Beltane. Beltane is a traditional Celtic festival, also known as May Day. Remember May Day? And it celebrates the arrival of summer and the renewal of nature. It's a cross-quarter holiday falling between the spring equinox and the summer solstice. So Beltane is often associated with fertility, fire, and, like I said, new beginnings. The name Beltane likely comes from the Celtic word bright fire, or fire of Bel. It is said that it's referring to the Celtic sun god Belenus. So the idea is during Beltane, the night of Beltane, we burn away all that no longer serves us. So if you can physically take and write down things you need to let go and burn them on 5/1, that would be awesome. So 5/1, starting on 5/4 through October 13th, Pluto will go in retrograde. And again, we are clear until 5/4, but Pluto goes retrograde. And when Pluto goes retrograde, it can be a time for reflection, introspection, and shifting and transforming. We can see shifts in power dynamics. We can see shifts in relationships. And whenever there's a retrograde in Pluto, it encourages individuals to confront their deepest fears, their insecurities, and to explore their motivations and the power structures in their personal and their collective life. When we're in a Pluto retrograde, it can bring huge, sweeping opportunities for transformation and healing. And this healing and transformation is going to be related to our trauma bonds, to our deep-seated, rooted beliefs, and our ancestor energy that we carry within us. Save this date, 5/5. There's a 5/5 portal that I love every year. 5/5 is a day of abundance. This year, 5/5, 2025 equals a 2. 2 is the number of partnership. It's about collaboration. So this time, the 5/5 portal is under the sign of Taurus, and it's combined with the number 5. 5 is a number of wealth, prosperity, change, investigation, shift. Shift happens. And there's a chance that on this day, we will begin to understand how we operate, and then we can make intention. So on 5/5, write down 5 things that you really, 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 really want. And this is a portal that opens up the opportunity to show us and help us learn how to move forward and let go of any kind of shame that we feel around, or any guilt that we have, or any fear we have around getting the things that we want. So 5/5 is a money portal. 5/5 is also Cinco de Mayo, a day to celebrate the freedom and liberation of Mexico. 5/10 is Mexican Mother's Day. So Mexican Mother's Day is always on the 10th of May, no matter what day it falls on. So that's beautiful because it's right before Mother's Day this year. Mother's Day is on 5/11, a day to honor our mothers, to have reverence. If you have a mother alive, if you're lucky enough to have a mother alive, we really need to appreciate it. You know, I have several friends that have lost their mothers, several friends. And I'm told that there's just this gap, this hole that never gets filled when your mom is gone. It's extra special if you have a mother around and alive that you can connect with. On 5/12, we will bring in this new moon in Scorpio. So you will know right away that, the full moon in Scorpio. On 5/12, it'll be the full moon in Scorpio. So this full moon in Scorpio comes in on 5/12. And again, when we think of this full moon in Scorpio, we're automatically going to think about Taurus energy because it's its partner. On 5/27, we have the new moon in Gemini. So exciting. So remember that during this time, 7 is the number of learning and knowledge and teaching and being taught. So Taurus teaches us that when you quiet your mind, you actually tap into your inner strength. You will feel it. And you'll develop more self-reliance. So life is going to continue, as I say, continue in this crazy year to throw us curveballs, and all kind of crazy things are going to continue to happen. But you'll find your own steadiness and your groundedness in yourself. Because the idea is we can always create inner peace within ourselves. And knowing this allows us to be more risk-taking, and it gives us to have the leap of faith. Again, new moons are about faith and trust in the universe. So Taurus teaches us that when we feel secure in our own energy, not someone else's, and our own creative expression, all of this that rises from within is very, very solid and strong. So not only will we feel more creative during this time, but we should also feel more confident in sharing our creativity with the world. You know, when we feel grounded, Taurus is kind of representing of the root chakra. So in order to create and be out in the world, we have to start with soil. So the idea is Taurus helps us to feel more vulnerable because we know at the end of the day, we can rely on ourselves. The more we trust ourselves, as one of my sayings says, if you want to live the good life, just trust yourself. So Taurus gives us this courage and this endless energy to continue forward, because this new moon is about our self-worth and our self-love. Again, governed by the planet Venus, and Venus is direct. We want to focus on teaching people how to treat us. It's hard, and we do this all the time, to just show and mirror what we want to receive, so we can show people better than we can tell them. So people will treat us, we will teach them how to treat us based on what they're observing us to do. So many things that hold us back are these belief structures and, coulda, shoulda, woulda, and things that we didn't do right or wrong. But like I said, every day we wake up, it's a gift from God to begin again. And then the universe, the planetary energy, helps us by bringing us in a new moon every single month. So the rest of this year, every single month, you get to start again. So these structures, these shadows, the shadow side, the dark energies come from our childhood wounds. And all of the things as adults that, you think you make it to adulthood and you think that you're done learning and going through stuff. But sometimes as adults, instead of you think we would have learned from childhood, sometimes we keep repeating that same energy and mistake because it seems like it's what we know. So despite it being dark and against our better good, we stick with it because it is what we know. Keep in mind that Taurus encourages a slow, steady approach to achieving your goals. But we're going to achieve these goals, and we're going to achieve the desires, and we're going to connect with what we want without sacrificing quality, beauty, or love. I love Taurus. I say this about every sign. I say it about every sign, but Taurus is an amazing energy. It's my divine masculine on the wheel, and I'm so grateful for Taurus. Taurus is known for practicality, a love of comfort, and suggesting a focus on your material possessions and your financial security. So get ready for a beautiful, rich, grounded time ahead on Sunday, 4/27, when this new moon in Taurus comes in at 12:20 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's a good time ahead. The first 3 days are the most potent, but we have 2 weeks to live into this energy. Oh my goodness, thank you so much for tuning in to Astrology with Astrid. And don't forget, coming soon, it's just around the corner, will be our circadian rhythm nervous system reset meditation on Sunday evenings from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. You will take this practice in your own home. These classes are offered on a sliding scale. So you pay, you pick a tier that you can afford, you join in, you tune in from your home, the comfort of an easy chair, your bed, or sitting up in traditional meditation, whatever it is. More to come on that, but we're going to tap into self-acupressure so you can learn how to self-regulate and calm down your nervous system through the ancient practice of Jin Shin Jitsu. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to follow, to like, and to join me on this journey. I appreciate you listening in and tuning in to this episode of Astrology with Astrid. Happy new super moon in Taurus. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for listening to Astrodology. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Coda Life Goddess or at codalife.com. Coda is C-O-T-A, Coda Life Goddess or codalife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astrology, and I'll see you next time.